Hi everybody, it's Cindy the Scrapologist. Welcome back to video number 4 of the Gatefold Hybrid Album series. I hope you're enjoying it so far. I've been just having so many ideas about this journal, and if you're just joining us, this is what we're making. We're making a Gatefold album that is sort of constructed like a mini album is, but we're going to junk it out and make it look like a junk journal on the inside. It's inspired by this large, humongous album that I made years ago, and I wanted to make a smaller version. So, I've decided on the theme for this. I knew that I kind of wanted to have it be sort of a vintage office theme with file folders and old lined paper and stuff like that. But I decided what I'm going to do is have this be kind of a vintage writing kit, or like a vintage letter writing kit. So we made this out of file folders. I have some cool ideas for this. I am thinking that I might attach a feather here as the writing implement. I'm going to have some little tuck spots where we can put stamps, postcards, tea-stained lined paper, some ink blotched paper. I'm going to have a freebie for that in one of these tutorials. So lots of ideas, and I think that's what this is going to end up being. I'm very excited about it. So some of the ideas I had, well, first of all, I have to fix mine because I don't know if you can see this. Yeah, see right there, my paper cracked. And sometimes that happens if you don't have enough adhesive in this groove here, in your gusset here. And obviously I didn't. The other three are perfect, but now unfortunately I'm going to have to take this off. And what I'm going to do is, I love using Kraftex, and I'm going to put this over my two spines just to reinforce it and cover up that feathering. But if you constructed this and yours isn't cracking, there's no need to do that extra step. I could have also put fabric here, which I thought I almost did. In retrospect, I probably should have, because now I have to take it apart and fix it. But I don't send things out like this, so gotta fix that. In the meantime, the first simple thing I want to do is I want to cover my file folder. So I cut out a piece of paper. I'm going to show you how to do that. I also had the idea of using some Kraftex strips. Now, if you don't know what Kraftex is, I'll put a link down below. It's wonderful. I always have some of this on hand, usually in craft, black and white. And it's kind of like a tough paper fabric. You can sew on it. You can wash it in the washing machine and then iron it. You can crinkle it up, but it's super durable. You can make purses out of it. I mean, there's just a lot of uses, but it's wonderful for your spines because it just lasts forever. The only thing with this is when you're using Kraftex, you do have to use glue. Non-wet or dry adhesives do not work on Kraftex. It just comes right off. So I do have to get out my dreaded glue. You know how much I hate glue. I have to use glue when I use the Kraftex. So I'm going to use this to reinforce my spine, but I'm also going to take a couple of strips. Oh, you know, I should have gotten out. I have a sample. Hold on. No, I'm not going to be able to get my hands on it quick enough. I don't know where I put them. But what I like to do is cut the Kraftex out in a shape. Let me go ahead and draw on this. This is a larger version, and I draw terribly, but in a shape kind of like this. Okay, and then I sewed two of them together with a decorative border, and then you can use it, let's see, then you can use it as a closure. I don't know if that makes any sense. I'll try to show you one in the next video. I have a whole bunch of them made. But I thought I would, oh, it's kind of in this shape. Kind of like this, but a larger version. And then you can wrap it around your album and use it as a closure. But I'm going to make something like this, have it come down from here and have magnets on the file folder, one here and one here, because I was looking at some vintage writing kits and they had lots of pockets, and then they had straps with snaps that came down that would kind of hold these down a little more firmly, and then you would unsnap them and open up and take your items out. So I'm going to be doing that for this kit because this is a little puffy, but that's fine. That's how I wanted it. I wanted you to be able to stuff things in there, and there's plenty of room for it to be puffy, so it's fine. But I want to put some vintage straps down. I'm also today, I'm going to try to do all this in one video. Don't know if that will work, but also I'm going to do an insert that can go into either of these pockets that can hold lined paper and stamps, and it's going to have some pockets in it. So that's what the plan is today. Even if you're not making the album, you can look at the series and just do an element of the book. For example, in the previous video, you could figure out how I did this file folder accordion pocket that has two pockets here. You could do that. Or you could just do a gatefold cover. You're going to learn lots of different techniques, and a lot of them are more advanced techniques. So you'll learn a little something, I hope, in each video that you can maybe use in another project. So in order to cover this, I did want this paper, and I cut it out specifically so that this was sort of in the center. And the way I cut it, let's see, it is 5.5 by 4 3/4. And what you do is you just stick it inside the pocket, make sure it's all the way down, and make sure it's kind of centered side to side, and then just trace the edge of your pocket here, like so, and then you can pull it out and just cut it out. I just cut that a little crooked, I think. I don't know, we'll see. Okay. Looks good. Now, if you want a little bit of a border, which I do, it doesn't really matter because it's black, but I want a little bit of a border on the bottom, so I'm just going to cut 1/8 of an inch off the bottom. And now that will fit very nicely right there. Looks great. Let me ink it up. Get out my tape runner. And as I always say, use whatever adhesive is your favorite. Okay, and I don't know what I want here yet, so I'm not going to decorate that yet. What I want to do next is do the insert for the middle here that's going to hold our lined paper and our stamps and anything else that you want. So what I'm actually going to do is a trifold. But in order to do a trifold in the size that I'm going to show you, you need a piece of paper that's 15 inches long. And so that can be done with Kraftex. And the thing that I love about the Kraftex too, see it's going to be a trifold, is that you can gunk it up and make it look like leather. So that's what I'm going to do for mine. However, I figured most of you don't have Kraftex and most of you only have 12-inch paper. So so let's just do a bifold out of scrapbook paper. I'm going to do my personal one, a trifold out of Kraftex, but for this one we'll do a bifold so that you all can do one. And so let's see. I don't know if I want to do it on regular craft paper and then decorate it. Yeah, I think that's what I'll do. I could use some more of this. I could use some scrapbook paper, but I think I'm going to use just regular craft paper so then I can decorate it. Okay, so I'm just using regular craft paper, cardstock. And let's make it maybe how wide do I want it? Maybe 5 by 7. Yeah, it's going to be 5 by 7 because I think I'm going to end up putting it in the back pocket here. 5 by 7. So now I've got to do math live on TV. Oh no. So what we want is we want a piece of scrapbook paper that's 7, because that's our height, by 10 1/4. Because this is 5 inches and we need a gusset. Okay, so cut this at, and we will find out together whether or not I'm right. 7 by 10 1/4. Because we're just making a little mini book. So again, here's a little thing that if you don't want to do the whole gatefold album, you can make this little mini book. So now okay, so we want to score at 4 7/8 and 5 1/8. Okay, 4 7/8, which is right here, and 5 1/8. If you don't have a scoreboard, 5 is your center, and then you need to fold about 1/8 of an inch on either side of the 5-inch mark. Okay, so that gives us a little gusset. And let's see if my math was right. Nope, it wasn't. I'm off. Let me think. Hang on, let me think over here. Oh, I know what I did. 4 7/8 and 5 1/4. There we go. 4 7/8 and 5 1/4. Okay. That should be correct. It's going to be a little harder to fold because I made that boo-boo. that should be correct. Okay. Now wait a minute. Was I right the first time? See, I should have done all this math before I started videoing. No, I'm right the second time. Oh my goodness. You know what I'm going to do? Okay, so what I should have done, it would have been easier if I didn't do 10 1/4. Okay, so cut your paper, I apologize, at 7 by 10. 7 by 10, so I'm just going to cut 1/4 of an inch off. And then that should work. Okay, I'm going to have to start over because I totally messed up my paper and it's not folding right. Okay, bear with me. Fast forward through all these mistakey parts. I always said don't do math. Figure out the math first. 7 by 10, 7 by 10. 5 is the middle, so 4 7/8 and 5 1/8. That should be perfect. Please be perfect. There are people watching me. There might be math teachers out there watching me, like retired math teachers who are totally laughing at me. I'm a creative person. Math and science, no. I was not good at math and science in school. I was great at art and music. And literature. I liked literature too. Okay, we did it. I don't know why that was so complicated for me. But so our final product is, our final measurements, 7 by 10, score at 4 7/8 and 5 1/8. 4 7/8 and 5 1/8. Then you have a little gusset and you fold it and you have a little booklet. Okay. Boy, oh boy, Cindy. Okay. Now, more math. What I want to do on the inside is, I want to do a fancy pocket here. It's going to be, well, fancy in the sense that it's going to look like this again, like just this piece here. Remember that I told you to keep this when we cut it out of here? And that's why, because we're going to use this as a template for some other things. I didn't know that at the time. I just knew we were going to use it. I shouldn't tell you that. I should tell you that I already knew what we were going to do with this. But we're going to do 2 pockets. And then we're going to, up here, make a little teeny weeny pocket for putting stamps in. So let's figure that out. If we do... If I want a 4 1/2 inch pocket, 5 by 3. Okay, so we need 2 pockets that are 5 by 3 1/2. And I'm going to use more of this paper and I'm going to cut off camera. 5 by 3 1/2, and we need 2 of them. And then I think for our teeny weeny stamp pocket up here, I don't want to make it so small that you can't get your fingers in there to get the stamps in and out. So if we went like, if if we cut a piece, I think that's 2 by 2, I think that will be good. 2 by 2. So one more piece that's 2 by 2. And there's our little pocket. Okay, get out the scoreboard again. Anytime you want to make a pocket, it's so easy to do. I hate the way my camera does this when I get this white board up here. Sorry, it gets darker. Anytime you want to make a pocket, just figure out the size of the pocket that you want and add a 1/2 inch to the top and the side. And so that will give you enough extra room to score it. And also, this pocket is going to go horizontal like this. So we want to score 2 shorts and 1 long. 2 short side and 1 long at a 1/2 inch. So 2 short sides and 1 long at a 1/2 inch. And then there's your pocket template. So it's really simple. You figure out what you want this to be, what you want your final pocket to be, and you add a 1/2 inch. Oh, wait a minute. Math again. I should have added an inch to this side and a 1/2 inch to this side. Okay, we're recutting. You guys are going to be so annoyed with me. I'm sorry. Boy. Let's see. That's not big enough. I have to get another piece of paper. Let's do 5.5 by 3.5. 2 pieces of 5.5 by 3.5. I mean, you can use those other ones. It's just I want my pockets to be a little bigger. I think I have spring fever. Maybe that's my problem. It's actually 45 today. So, all right. So let me start over. So when you have a pocket, you figure out, if you're doing a horizontal pocket, figure out what the size of your pocket you want it to be and add an inch this way. And then add a 1/2 inch this way. So we have an extra inch here. So we're going to score a 1/2 inch on each side. That's why we have an extra inch. And then we're going to flip it and score 1/2 inch. We don't need to score the top. Just to make this more complicated, if you want to add another 1/2 inch to the top, put glue and fold it over. It makes a really nice little top to your pocket. But I'm not going to do that today. I've already probably confused everybody so much that I'm not going to add to it. Then we have our little 2 by 2 here, which now needs to be a 2.5 by 2, because I forgot about the extra needing an inch on one side. 2.5 by 2. Okay. This is also going to be a horizontal pocket, so I'm scoring a 1/2 inch on either side, on the long sides, and 1/2 inch on the bottom. Okay. Phew, I'm glad that's done. You probably are too. Okay, whenever you're making a pocket, then the typical rule of thumb also is that whenever you see a square here, you cut these off. You need to miter your corners. Okay, if you do mini albums, you know this. Maybe you're junk journaling now and you don't know this. And you can sit here and use these guidelines and make pockets all day long. Okay. And then get out our double-sided tape. But before we tape these, yeah, that'll work. Yep. before we tape these, I want to cut out that little design. So I'm just going to go down about 1/4 of an inch. This is a scrap that we had cut out previously. Oh, that's mega crooked. Very, very crooked. Let me try that again. It's kind of hard to see where this should go doing it like this. Well, you know what I'm going to do instead? I mean, I'm sure there's a way to do that, but I don't want to take up a lot of time. And it's okay that I have these pencil marks on here because I'm going to be covering it. But I'm just going to do a half circle and make kind of a, I don't know if you call that a finger spot, and that's totally off center. I don't know what's wrong with me today. Normally I can just eyeball things. There, I just found my center with a ruler. Maybe this will work better. Let me see. Did I do that right? Yep. Yippee. Oops. That just hit me in the face and then went down my shirt. Okay. And I'm going to have to do another one of these because I don't like it. That is just so off center. Or is it? Is it just my imagination? No, actually, it's not bad. We're going for it. This, I think we can do just a little tiny one. There, I just took a tiny piece out of this one. All right, now let's put the tape on. Actually, I should have put the tape on before I mitered my corners. You don't have to, but I generally do. That way you get better coverage. But it's really not that critical. But it's just a better habit to get into. Okay. And I am going to cover these with scrapbook paper, but I want to ink my edges before I put it down. Especially this part here is hard to do once you've attached the page. I mean, attached it to the page. Let me wet my whistle here. Maybe that's my problem. Getting dehydrated. This theater I'm working in now, the rehearsal room is under construction, so we're in an old mill building for our rehearsals. We have a new rehearsal studio, and every night I leave there and I have a sore throat. And I don't know if it's just dry in there, or it is an old factory building that's been renovated, and you never know what kind of chemicals they had in those places. So I don't know what's going on. Okay, my math worked. Yay! Somebody send me a prize. I'll give you my address. I did math. Look how nice that's going to look. And then our little baby one up here for our stamps. Let's commit to it. Let's put it down. It's not until the very end. I'm going to construct the book first, and then I'm going to go through and decorate it. That's usually the way I work. And then I mat it, or put my tissue paper on it, or ink it, or whatever I'm going to do. And then the last thing I do is I put the little final touches, like buttons and embellishments and little chipboard pieces and things like that. So that's the way I work. And since I'm just kind of showing you the way I work and doing what I would normally do, that's what I'm going to do. Oh my goodness. I keep kicking over my scoreboard. And this, the flaps are showing just a little bit through here, but I actually don't mind that. On mine, it might not happen on yours. And then just center that. Let's put that here. That's so cute. That's so adorable. Can you imagine when we have this decorated and we have a bunch of little stamps in there? And we'll put some lined paper in here that's tea stained, maybe some postcards. Oh, I love it. Okay, and we've got to decorate this whole thing too. So this is going to go in here. Yay. Okay. I'm rethinking. Yeah, we can do it. I was thinking, are we still going to be able to put the two straps down here? Oh, I needed to put my magnets down before I put this on. I should have waited to put this down. Okay, well, I'm going to use my undo, pull this up, and put a couple of magnets on here. This will be off in the next video, and I'm going to show you how we're going to do the straps. Not sure what else we're going to do in the next video, because I'm creating this as we go, so as I get ideas, I do it. I hope it doesn't seem disjointed or unorganized, but this is how I work. So luckily with technology, you can fast forward whenever you need to, pause whenever you need to, which is the nice thing about YouTube. Okay, that's all I'm doing for today. I hope you make one of these. You can use these. You put this in a junk journal and do it in any project. You don't have to make this whole thing. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in video 5.